What's up, guys? This is Johanna, and I decided to do an eating type of sit down and talk and eat at the same time type of video. And I don't think I've ever talked about food unless I'm reviewing food, but I mean, I think in general, life, me, and food has been like a roller coaster, I guess. Well, first of all, I'm eating rice, beans, and tilapia, and it came out pretty good. I put garlic powder, onion powder, and that Goya chicken seasoning. It's pretty good, really, really good. It has a lot of flavor. Anyway, so all right, I feel like food became a problem. Uh, I came to realize that me and weight was an issue when my father was filming me one time and I was at the park. And I guess he thought he was sending it to my grandma. But then I saw that clip and what my dad was like. I've always been thick, first of all. I've always had thick legs, big hips. I've always been thick. And I've been thick since I was a little girl. I remember being like 8, 9. I had really thick legs. So in this video, my dad was like, she you know, she gained a little weight, but she can lose it. And then that's when I realized, I was like, oh shit, my dad thinks I'm fat. And listen, look, I'm pretty sure that as parents, sometimes we'll say things that we don't really think of much. Maybe we realize that years later. There's probably things that I've said that probably affects someone in their life. Who knows? I don't know, man. We all say stupid shit. But that shit, listen, I'm 33 years old and I still remember that. And I think that it has affected me and made me realize that, weight affects other people more than myself. And I come to realize that now. Well, I think a few years back as well. Anyway, so my mom was really about me losing weight and being and always being fit. And she always made the excuse that like I can't really exercise much, so I have to so she always felt like she needed to control everything I ate. So at a young age, around 6th grade, I learned that in high school have to eat whatever I can because I know that when I get home, she's going to control everything I eat. So I was deprived from like candy, chocolate, a bunch of stuff. And she would always give me food or whatever the hell as much as she wanted. Like the amounts were like small. I guess I could say that they were like this, like you know, and it was never like a huge plate. Obviously, when you're a kid, or a teenager, it's not gonna be a huge plate. So when my mom was always telling me how fat I was or whatever, that I needed to lose weight, I think I was like 12, 13 when I decided to like not eat for a whole day, because I guess it got to me. And I guess the next day I was in the bathroom and I fainted, and then my mom freaked out. They called the cops, the ambulance, whatever. They didn't take me anywhere. They just learned that I haven't been eating, so they're like, okay, yeah, you need to eat. So I freaked out, and then everything went back to normal. Later, when I was like 15, I decided to get yoga lessons like at home from this guy, and everything was great until the guy like creeped me out, and like there was this one time that I was dressed really nice and I came home from somewhere, and then he saw me, and I wasn't wearing sweatpants. I wasn't wearing sweatpants and like a big t-shirt, you know, like how he would see me. He saw me in like jeans and a nice blouse and like my hair down and stuff like that. So I don't know what he saw in that, but he started treating me differently after that. So, and it kind of felt like he started flirting with me. And it made me so uncomfortable. I told my mom, and my mom stopped the whole thing. He never came back. So, yeah, that happened. And so I feel like I've always had to ignore my mom about, what to eat, what not to eat. I just like ignored that shit. And then afterwards, I think when I was like 20, I left the house, whatever. In high school, I was still eating at school, whatever. I was eating Chinese food and like those chocolate chip cookies and then donuts and for breakfast. It was like, and I guess my mom always wondered why, I was always like a little chubby, but it wasn't a big deal, honestly. I wasn't huge in high school. Um, so it has always been like a love hate thing with food. And then when I was going to the gym and stuff like that in 2000 what 13, I went for a year, well 6 months, and I was super super fit, which is cool as hell, whatever. But then I was working out so much. I was working out 6 days a week. Like after dinner, I did like the wrong move when I sat down, and I ended up um, twisting my small intestine. Probably wondering like, how the hell did you twist your small intestine? I don't know, man, but it happened. So I ended up in the hospital. They put tubes in my nose and all that stuff. And so I tried to go back to the gym when I was like healing up, but I for some reason I still felt this weird pain like in here. And so I freaked out. I got paranoid. I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to get into the hospital again. So I just stopped going to the gym. I would try, but that pain would come back. So I was like, nah, forget it. I can't work out like how I want to. So, um, that's that. That's the story with that. Um, and then in like around 2016, 2017, um, mind you, I've always suffered from depression. I got diagnosed at like 12, and I never took meds, none of that stuff. My parents didn't believe in that. And old school parents, right? Where they're like, they don't believe anything doctors say when it comes to like mental health. Like it's not a thing. Like they see it as like, oh, she's depressed. It's because she isn't doing any chores at home or some stuff like that. I think that's how my mom's mentality is, even till this day. So I don't really talk about that with her anymore. I just keep it to myself. Anyway, so um, in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there, I decided to not eat beef for like a whole year and a half to see if it would like change my mood and my depression. I mean, I did okay. I didn't really eat any meat. I only had like chicken and fish, but I didn't have like beef because I felt like beef had some type of like emotion. Like the way I see it is like if when they kill cows and stuff, like I feel like when they're being killed, like their emotions pass to their, like they stay in the meat. So that was like my whole mentality about it. And so, but I figured out real quick that I mean, after the year and a half, I went back to eating beef again because it didn't really make a difference. Like I was still like depressed. So, um, so and then whatever. Mind you, I still don't have therapy, and you know, and then at jobs, people would be like, "Oh, she's depressed," you know. Of course, I'm like, whatever. Who are they to like say some shit to me? Like I already know myself. And anyway, long story short, ever since I moved out of my parents' house, um, I'm not that depressed anymore. So, with that being said, sometimes you just can't be around a type of energy, you know? You just can't. You have to, like, stay far from it as much as you can. Do I get sad sometimes? Yeah. I think it's just like it's not necessarily depression. I think the feeling of it, the feeling of being depressed, um, it gets addicting. It's kind of like, you know, when you, I guess, in a different term, it's like a withdrawal of being depressed. It's like, you know, when you drink a lot and then you don't have it anymore, sometimes you get withdrawals and like you think of it and you want to feel that way again because it's something familiar. It's like a familiar feeling, you know? It's like when you're in love and you miss being in love and you want to feel it again. Depression is like that. So, for me, at least. So, I think I feel like till this day learning to be happy is like a daily thing. It's really hard sometimes. And you know what? Sometimes my own son changes my mood. Sometimes my son worsens up my mood. And you know, it's you have to take it like a grain of salt and just, you know, go with the flow sometimes. And, you know, um it is what it is, I guess. I think depression is a serious thing. I think a lot of people don't realize what is it that makes them depressed. I think it could be so many things. It could be I just spit up fucking rice. I think it could be childhood trauma. It could be so many things, you know. And sometimes you can't pinpoint it, but I realized what it was once I moved out. So and you know, I'm also very sensitive with energy. So I just can't be around I just can't be friends with people who are always sad cuz it's going to get to me. And since I'm so empathetic and stuff like that, like I've been around people that just, you know, they just, I feel like they're sad all the time. And I feel like if I'm always with them and I don't really make a change, then I'm gonna blame that on myself too. Like, oh, I'm adding to his or her sadness. So that's why I eliminate myself from a lot of friendship because, you know, I just feel like if I don't really make a difference in your life and you don't tell me neither, you know, you don't always need reassurance. just in relationships. You need reassurance from friends too, in my opinion. And then, so if that doesn't happen, I just like disappear. By the way, this is Colombian soda. It's apple soda. It's called Postobon. It's a pink bottle. Well, the cover is pink. It's so good. You should try it. And if you know any other sodas, like from different countries that are really good, tell me, because I want to try just new things, and I think that it's awesome to try. And I know soda is bad for you, but you know, I love it. Anyway, before it gets really really loud, that's that. Um, the moral of the story is stay away from toxic ass people, and everything will be alright. Thank you guys for watching, and on to the next video. Bye, guys.